And you see, in God's eyes, I matter. You know, God, He created everybody for a purpose. You know what I'm saying? He gave me a purpose. You know, for one, promoting His word. You know, implementing the kingdom's derivatives on earth. Meaning, you know, things that's in the Bible. You know, and living a life that complements the scripture. You know, that was to turn people to God. You know what I'm saying? Not glorify myself, but lift up the name, exalt God's. You know, and the things that God approve of and commends. So, I mean, and in the eyes of some, for that reason, you know, I didn't deserve rights or the right to exist, live, or, you know, eat, have comfort, rest, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was, you know, it was nowhere for me to rest my head. And that's what the Bible means. That's one of the things the Bible means. It's just a modern way of it happening. You watching it in plain sight. When the Lord say in the Bible, you know, you know, foxes have holes and birds have nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to rest his head. You know, that's what you're seeing right now as we speak. You know, now I talked about the pattern before, you know, about these persecutions. You know, we got all kind of turmoil and stuff going on, but just like my last recording, as y'all know, I posted that, you know, hours before anything happened. So that tells you how strict a watch it is on me, you feel me? That tells you how tight a watch I'm under. And that leads me to say about this pattern I've been talking about, you know what I mean? It's been going on for like, you know, for actually a very, 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 very long time. When I know specifically, you know, that I've been seeing my life being destroyed since far back as like 14. But, you know, particularly, you know, years like 17, 18, 19, you know, 20. I mean, it's just facts, you know what I mean, in relation to my life and what I know, you know what I'm saying, about my life from what I've gone through and I witnessed personally, because it's my life, you know what I mean? And these are things that I was talking about, you know what I mean? Just like, you know, I get, you know, I talk to people about the informal evictions tons of times, you know, everything from when I got my first apartment, you know, it's been hell, you know, like the whole time. Recently, you know, just in the last, you know, in the span of the last 3-4 months, you know, I've been evicted, you know what I'm saying, by the structures, informally, you know what I'm saying, illegally, you know, and, you know, systematically. And it's been like a hands-off approach, but it's been like a passive, you know, neglect type of situation, because, you know, before every time, you know, I ever, you know what I'm saying, move anywhere, you know, I inform, you know, I mean, I'm in low income housing. I always have been. You know what I'm saying, all these years, all the way up to now. You know, I just got pretty much ran out by the structures through negligence, you know what I mean? Because every time, you know, before I move into a new place, you know what I'm saying, I tell them in advance, you feel me, what's going on. I told them about, you know, these influential figures, you know, that would try to commit identity theft, you know, then murder me, you know, to steal my ideas, my aesthetics, you know, my own talent, to claim my work, claim my art that I create with my hands, and I think of with my mind, with my brain, you feel me? And so, I mean, I told them and showed them, you know, that, you know, it's people, I mean, in so many words, you feel me, that people that are trying to do that have that agenda, and they still stalking me. So I told them in advance before the last, you know, we'll just say the last 3-4 places I ever been, you know, I told them in advance before I move in, and then guess what happens every time anyway? You know what I'm saying? I get, you know what I'm saying, I get broken into, you know, they put, you know, it's illegal, you know, it could be surveillance to, you know, auditory, you know, things, you know what I'm saying? And I tell them that every time, and they let it happen anyway, every time. And they just like ran me out of, like, you know, I've been like, you know, deprived of my rights, you know, like twice in a row, you know, in a 25-day span or period, you know, which is extremely unnatural. You know what I'm saying? They do whatever they can do to find the issue, you know, and try to, you know, split hairs and, you know, over exaggerate situations. And then when you think about it, the harassment, you know what I'm saying, and things that was already on my life from militia entities, and, you know, and things like that. Now the whole course that been happening, I've been having ideas and things that I created and simulated by other people who did not have my permission, that I ain't fond of. And the way they get away with it is by trying to extort me violently. You know what I'm saying? In my personal life. All of this been happening the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So while I'm being subjected to this extra unnatural amount of scrutiny, you know what I'm saying, by militias and stuff in the interest of these artists that try to, already assimilate me and stuff, without my permission and things. The same time, I'm being subjected to this scrutiny by these militias, these and others, some others, injustices and things like that. That's also happening to my legacy, my body of work. And so, they're trying to, keep me in a position where, or get me into a position where I cannot defend myself, or my intellectual property through facts, just doing nothing but speaking the truth and promoting facts. You know what I mean? But you see, it's a massive, larger than life situation that's going on. It's sadistic, and they bullying me, like, to no end. Real talk, I mean, they won't leave me alone. They consider me I'm like a gold mine. I got, I'm who they could secretly, see. They could watch me, my ideas, aesthetics, and things. And, that's what it is. So every time, before I move in anywhere, I told instructions what was going on in advance. And then they allowed it to happen anyway until I be forced to my rights violated once again, invasion, and then, all of this stuff. And then they always do something, some kind of way, to try to, dissolve the situation, and to keep from having to face it, or keep from having, to like answer for it or address it. Like, like I said before in the recording, like, I don't know who should be upset about this, but the fact that nobody really is disturbing. You know what I mean? But I mean, all it is just what I say, affirmations, man, to that time in which we live. Say, God is hated. You know what I mean? This kind of thing was going on years back, man. But I mean, some of the worst times of my life happened in 17, and they even had people admitting to it. I would get like the endless acoustic harassment and torture, and nobody else wasn't being subjected to. You feel me? I'm talking about like in Jax. You know what I mean? Like I was going through, like, in 17. I was working at I was working at warehouses and things. Like Elm and Amazon and places like that. And I'm on. I'm working for like 12, 13 hours, and the whole time, these influential figures, same ones here right now, they are doing, like, they remotely, and now I understand what it is, but back then I didn't. I had to learn to find out for myself, like distortion campaigns and smear campaigns, and they joined them together against me. And I could be standing there, working, and this whole time, they had buzzers. You feel me? That they would have, and the buzzer's supposed to sound off to tell you. This is just an example of the kind of things I used to go through and still do. In one way or another. This before my profession was anything like it is now. But this kind of thing that was happening on one occasion. And man, they had buzzers. Whereas, the place had just opened. They had buzzers. It tells you when, for breaks, like time for breaks and all that. I mean, back then, I would always end up like directly in front of one, with my station. When I was picking, it's called picking. And they would, what they would do was, for every move I make, I got to stand on mine. I'm standing there for like 12 hours, you feel me? For every move I make the whole night, they had a buzzer right there, and they would just torture me with it, like, to no end. For every move I make, the buzzer would just, like, it would just go off for, like, it was just targeting me. Only me the whole time. Like, and it's absolutely utmost sadistic bullying, psychological harassment that you wouldn't believe. And they would do that to me like all night long. Like if an item come up that has a certain person's, I don't know, like they were trying to send me messages or something like that, like hidden messages of, threats or whatever. Sometimes they'll send me gun threats. And, I would get attacked with weapons when I left. You feel me? They would send me, like they'll send up a product and then they'll beat the buzzer on it the time I reach for it. And then, that's how it would go. And I had to get used to that. It was endless torture, you know what I mean? And I would reach back for them. I reach for it, then they'll buzz it, and then I send out with off, and then they'll send me something else, insulting me, or and then they'll buzz it. Then they would just like torture me, and it was like never ending. It was like it just was like. Just endless torture me, and nobody in the whole country was helping me. Nobody, no lawyers, nothing. The places they HR, nothing. Nobody. This was before anything was like it was, and that's the kind of thing I was going through. Was just endless torture. I leave, and then they would somehow, coerce. Or I don't know how they did it, but they could it'd be instances where like I got to catch a bus. To get on the other side, to get home in my first apartment. And, they would make the bus leave me. You feel me? If it was raining and stuff. Like somehow they would do that. They would tell them, and everybody get on. But when I'm finna get up there and get on, they'll make the bus leave. That's the kind of stuff I've been going through the whole time, And there's so many chapters and things that's already happened that there's no way possible. Two things can happen. There's no way nobody could take credit for this, you feel me, and still be free. And there's no way that, it could be a situation that's still unresolved. Nah, you know what I mean? This has not been like a normal persecution. It's been like an excessive war on one person's life without cause. You know what I'm saying? And that was way back all the way to now. And I can't even talk about the things that was going on back then. That's the situation. And these artists, they always, you feel me, like they focused, they focus their priorities all mixed up. Because if they gonna have any interest in the situation, it shouldn't be against the lamb. You feel me? Because obviously, I have zero fear. You know what I'm saying? Don't fear at all. You know what I'm saying? So, we don't do no good to tell me, the interest of these demons or, what they're planning or trying. Because I already been through this hundreds of times. So, it's like, well, now now the right awareness is on the situation. So, their problems that they have with me, this made up, I don't know what it is, prejudices or, whatever demonic incentive, whatever. Now they can take that up with people who have the same resources they have. Instead of, just using all that on an innocent person that they know, can't defend themselves. You feel me? So that's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? So they redirect that to somebody who can, get with them on that level. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just bullying somebody that don't deserve it, they can't defend themselves. I'm just a sheep. And it's been like a sheep to a slaughter all these years, the whole time. And so that's why when my situation, started looking the same these days, it's not surprising to me because I know the things I've gone through already. And and you see it in my quotes, my poetry. I got recordings from back then. I'm talking about all this stuff all year, every year. You get to know about everybody. And they just let this keep compounding anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, you understand why the future could potentially take, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, and with it being so long, of course, it it's emotionally, disturbing, and it's terrifying. It would be, so it far surpassed the shock of consciousness of a regular person. If a regular person heard about this situation and then they understand that it's true and find out that it's true in a real story, and they sit there and think about it, then they would be shocked. It's past the shock of consciousness. They would get a reaction. You know what I'm saying? And this been like years and years and years. And and actually my whole life I've been a child. And all of a sudden, it's like people want to chunk it up. People I'm like, really? That's all? All they get is the recognition of their crime or their evils? What about the damages I've suffered unrecoverable? Even after the structures were aware of the situation. What about my intellectual property that's damaged and assimilated, unrecoverable? You know what I'm saying? But that was, you know what I'm saying, when the harassment was already, you know, the structure was notified of the harassment before those actions were taken against my legacy in advance. You feel me? So would that happen anyway to, you know, make my, you know what I'm saying, to destroy my you know, my property, intellectual property? Why was that, you know, allowed anyway? You feel me? When the harassment was already, you know what I'm saying, awareness was brought to it before that even happened, before those people did that or said that or whatever. So I'm saying, like, every year they let it keep compounding until these influential figures or celebs or whoever, you know, their favorites, their idols, can like destroy me and kill me. They letting them do this. This is stalking, killing. You feel me? This is an active conspiring to commit murder. And everything else they doing, like filibuster, like they doing everything like roundabout just to distract and they come right back to me. That's what they're doing. Most people be like, you know, run and hide. I mean, I follow the Lord. You know what I'm saying? If I was wrong and I was lying, then yeah, I would, I mean, nah. Feel me? No, man, this is not a situation for that. I'm like, well, if anybody got any kind of dignity or anybody care about what's right or God, then they understand. I mean, I'm pro-Jesus, you feel me? I've been following the Lord the whole time. That's who I follow, you feel me? And that's been very clear and evident in my fruits, which is my contribution. You know, my literature, my recordings like these, my speeches, you know, this stuff copyrighted, time I created. That's what it is, man. And so that's why, you know, influential, like, I mean, anybody who would assimilate me and stuff like that, you know, I couldn't find time to entertain them because for the simple fact that from what I've gone through already, I know that these things are challenges and setups. These are traps to, like, lure me into, just baits, you know what I'm saying, these kind of things to get me, you know, keep me or trap me into the reality of these people. The structures allowed them to set the baits on purpose in order to also lure me in, because they're obviously actively, apparently facilitating, you know, what these agenda, these artists trying to, or influencers trying to do. You know, they have one intention, that's destroying Elijah, the real Elijah. You know what I'm saying? They are one mind, you know, of the beast. You know what I'm saying? Offspring of the beast, man. Like, not everybody, but a great deal. So whatever the beast would feel, you know what I'm saying, they feel the same way. You feel me? No matter what Eli say or do. Because that's what the beast want to replace the Lord. You know, think about it. It's all in the Bible. The you know what I'm saying? They go try to replace God, the real one. Think about it. And that's what they doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, ain't no label saying that's what they doing, but you could tell by action, word, and deed. Like, so the want to replace the Lord. And so, everything that's of the gonna have that same, gonna be pushing toward that same motive. Cause it's way more going on, you feel me? But this situation is important though. You know what I mean? Because this don't just ain't talking about what's going on in one person's life though, man. But it's like this the sum of the whole society. But they know the Holy Ghost in. They know the Lord with me. You feel me? They seen it. Miracles, everything. They still try to strip away my talent, assimilate it, attribute it to people who got nothing to do with, who not even on my radar, and try to force them on my radar illegally. You know what I'm saying? After they've been reported, you know, for harassment and, you know, them extorting me right now. All this is happening with the knowledge of the structures. You know what I'm saying? As we speak. And they not being prosecuted for murder. The structure's still not being prosecuted for murder. This all happening as we speak. In real time. They're still not being prosecuted for murder. Another minute going by. You feel me? Like every minute by minute by minute by minute. You know what I'm saying? Like as we speak, counting every second going by, feel me? They not being prosecuted for murder. When they got every right to be. You know? And I'm just saying, man. These are the times of the beast, man. And it's going to become more and more evident later on. Now, when it comes to the rest of the scripture, like I talk about like the Antichrist, you know, everybody, you know, it's going to come to a head eventually. Because, you know, the Lord himself going to come back. That's the head of Christianity. the anti go come back and he the head of Satan. But that don't mean he gonna be back in the next. I mean, the anti ain't saying he gonna be here in the next 4 years or the next 8 years, but he'll be here in the next 20 years. And then you'll know. The times of the beast. Slowly but surely. And it's evident in these kind of things happening to a servant of God for no reason but for living righteous.